Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tammy and I have another Soap Challenge Club video for you today. Today's challenge, or this month of December of 2021, the challenge is kind of a back to basics challenge. And I think this is a really good challenge for me because I have been struggling the last couple months. Our challenge is to have very smooth coloring with no air bubbles, no splotchiness, no like variations in color, just a very smooth texture, very smooth uniform color. And then the second part of the challenge is all the colors that we use have to have really crisp lines. So no swirls. That is something I have struggled with. Not the lines, I don't really use lines very often in my soaps, but I have really struggled with some splotchiness, maybe not getting my fragrance oil or my colorants mixed in well enough, air bubbles. I really feel like I've slipped in that realm of soap making. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I really do think that it's going to do me good to try to do this challenge. You have the colors that you have to choose from. And this is our inspiration picture. And these are our color swatches that we have to try to match the colors as closely as possible. So for my colors, I am taking notes from what Amy Warden did on her tutorial. And then for the white, it's not really white, it's kind of a creamy white, an off antiquish white. And something I learned recently is if you C-pop your white base, it will turn a cream color. I made that mistake with the icy peppermint, so that mistake is turning into this gain because now I know I can put that in the oven and it will turn that off white. And so that's what I'm going to do. My design for this, I'm going to make soap embeds. So I'm worried about making the embeds by rolling them in a ball like I've done before, because I think that will ruin the texture, and I really want these to be very smooth. I'm sorry if you hear my dog. He's distracting me. My husband just got home. I know. Lots of packages up there for him to bring down. I'm not even close to being ready. I just thought I'd come down here and tell you my plan. So I'm going to work on maybe this week doing all my embed soap. All right. So can I just say that is the clearest my oils have ever been. I didn't show you my pouring the oils in here, but I was very slow and very carefully, and I poured down the shaft of my spatula. But I just was very careful with the stirring. I'm very careful with the pouring. Not my usual, that I do. With my colorants, I have them all ready to go. I'm going to do the 3 tonight. And this is my black. I have my 2 blues over here. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to C-pop half of that. So this is going to go in the oven. So I'm going to do 2 bars of each color. This tray, I'll know, is not oven safe, so this is going to stay out here. And that way I can kind of get a feel for which color more closely matches the paper, whether putting them in the oven actually hurts that or not. So we'll just have a little bit of extra soap for that, and I'm going to whisk. So I already have my lye water in here. I did get a couple bubbles while I was putting the lye water in here, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy here. I can see a couple of them. So here's where patience would be a good thing. I have never made soap without a stick blender. Do I have it in me to stir this? This is already painful. I'm already struggling. It's been 20 seconds. Now the fragrance oil I chose, I'm running so low on my fragrance oils, I didn't have a lot of choices, but I have cactus flower and jade from Candle Science. Really like this fragrance oil. I have it pulled to try in a wax melt, and I thought, you know what? It kind of accelerates. I kind of want an accelerating fragrance for this because I don't want to do this all night. So I'm going to split this off in the 3 different colors I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put this in because it does accelerate by whisk, one at a time. So what I am going to do for sure is turn this on the very lowest setting. And I'm going to set this in here super carefully. Let's see what kind of colors, if we can get a nice smooth color. So this is the middle blue I'm working on here. And it is the magic blue and the peacock blue together. So I'm just going to take my time and stir these with the spatulas for now. And this one is the Caribbean blue with a little bit of pitch black mica. I really want this one to be lighter. So I'm curious to see if I'm going to choose the one that's been C-popped or if I'm going to choose the one that's just going to sit on my counter. That's going to be a fun like little experiment to try to figure out. This one is almost too dark and this one is almost too light. So you know what? I'm going to just do this and see if that doesn't do the trick. This one is ready to pour. We definitely are at a trace. And so I'm just pouring super, super slow, guys. Down my spatula. I'm just going to do the same thing. You probably weren't even in view. So I am going to cover, I've got this piece of cardboard, and it's probably going to get gunked up, but I'm going to plane it, so that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I just don't want any air to get to that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just cover it up with cardboard. This one's going in the oven. This one's going to be on the countertop. So tomorrow we're going to start all over with the other colors. I have not looked at these. So this is non-C-popped. A little soda ash. And I think my blues are not quite, and my gray or black. It's not quite black. Let me see what this looks like. And then the main blue doesn't look much different than that. And look how splotchy that is. That's not going to work. That's super, super splotchy. Oh my gosh, that is so splotchy. I don't know. I wonder if that came from my mold. All right. Let's see what the C-popped ones look like. I need to do this before I get my oils melted for my next soap. Alright. This blue looks a lot closer. Kind of right in the middle, but it is kind of closer to that. Not too far off. I may call that one good. Perfect black. I'm happy with that black. And then this blue, I don't know what it is. Maybe I didn't get my colorants mixed in very well. This one's kind of splotchy too. It's almost got like a texture on it. I wonder if that's going to go all the way through. It's pretty close too. It's pretty close. So I would say that if I can get this splotchiness, if I can plane that off, if it's just on the surface, plane off the soda ash there, then I'm going to be happy with my blues. And all of these colors are good with the C-popping. The non-C-popped colors are a fail. All right, so C-popped. Not a whole lot of difference. This is definitely a deeper tone. This one has, I don't know, I think it's a little green. I think that although it's a little darker, that's a better tone. So I'll probably go with this one. These are quite similar too. So let's see which one best matches my sheet here. And the C-popped one wins again. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but that's really, really close. I'm going to try again. Lisa from My Dream and Sew does the titanium dioxide in the bottle. And I did this once whenever she first, I think it was when she first posted that video. I think it was the very first video she ever posted. I think I watched it pretty early on, and I did it exactly like she said to do, and it really didn't work for me. And I think my biggest complaint was that I didn't use it up quick enough, and the ball bearings or screws or whatever I was using in that bottle would get buried in the titanium dioxide that had fallen and settled to the bottom, and it was just horrendous trying to get those. I mean, I would be shaking and I would be so tired by the time I got all of that off the bottom of the bottle that I just gave up. I'm trying this again. I am using oil this time. I've never used oil before this batch. I don't have my screws in here yet, but I'm going to go and get some clean, fresh screws or bolts or whatever I'm going to get. So I'm trying it again. Because I have really, really struggled with my TD lately. So that's my story. I'm trying her again. I rewatched the video and I followed along just like she told me to do. So here's my pot of oil. I'm going to go ahead and get this in here. And I don't know how much I want. But I am going to stick blend this for a second, and I thought, you know, I might as well go ahead and put the TD in here while I'm at it. This is my one and only shot at this this challenge. I just have, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm not giving them the respect that the challenges deserve, because I really do only give it about one try. But it's really all I have time for. Oh, I've got air bubbles. I'm going to get my fragrance oil in. I didn't get it completely blended in. I'm going to stir the rest of the way. Oh, look how thin that is. Maybe I should have stuck blended it a little bit longer while I was in there. I'm really anxious to try this titanium dioxide with the oil instead of the water. And maybe I'll like that a lot better. I don't know if I have enough of my cubes for making a very full, you know, kind of visual of the cubes. we'll have to just see what happens with that. I think I'm at a trace already. I stick blended this quite a bit longer than I did my other colors. So I'm going to pour some in my mold here, see if I can get you in focus and in camera. Yeah, it's thickening up much quicker than my last couple batches. It's a little thicker than I wanted to because I don't want there to be air pockets around my soaps. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how thick this has gotten. All right, I'm gonna call her. Let me pull you in a little bit maybe. Where's my lid? Holy cow, you guys. That was so thick. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch my videos from making all the colors. I don't remember it getting near that thick, near that fast. It seems like I had to walk away. And I know I stick blended it for a good amount, I guess, more. But I did stick blend the other colors. I wasn't expecting that. I'm just all in a tizzy, I guess. Oh my goodness. All right, so I am going to pop this so it keeps that creamy white, and we'll cut it in a day or two. All right, guys, it's been a couple days since I've cleaned these up and have them all planed and pretty. So let me show you a couple of them. There's one. I'm really pretty happy with it. I learned lessons. Here's another one I thought was pretty good. I got my pictures taken. I'm going to be uploading these on the challenge site probably tonight. But I'm really happy with how they turned out. I have no complaints, and the smell is really interesting. Cactus flower and jade from Candle Science. I ended up using my whole bottle. Look at all this. Look at all of this I have. I have plans for that. That's a lot. I think it's like over 50 ounces of soap. I really like the scent, so I'm happy with that. And my lessons learned. Okay. Lessons learned, because this back to basics I felt was perfect timing, and I'm really, really grateful that they had this type of challenge, because I did learn some lessons, or relearn some lessons. I kind of lost sight of some things, and having a really smooth batter does make a better, prettier bar of soap. I've always kind of, the air bubbles, who cares? Air bubbles don't. Does that really make a difference? Yeah, it really does. I mean, look at it, really does. This is a very smooth, pretty bar of soap with no air. I mean, there's a few little air pockets I found because my batter was so thick, but it really has a very smooth finish and appearance to it. And so, yes, air bubbles actually do matter. So learn that, but I've just kind of always, that's just silly. that doesn't really make a difference. So, and then another thing I realized is like, okay, so my white was so thick, right? And I lost sight of the fact that this is an accelerating fragrance oil. I think it was because I was having such an easy time with my colors, and it wasn't thickening up on me, and I wasn't having any problems with it, and I lost sight of the fact that this is an accelerating fragrance oil. And so when I 2 days later went back and made my white, I just stick blended it because I didn't want to whisk it. Well, I paid for that. That impatience of mine gets me every time. So yeah, I should have whisked it. I would have had a much easier time getting these where I wanted. I wanted to really layer them and put them in a very more uniform. You know, I wanted to be able to spread out the colors so they were evenly dispersed. I had to throw that out the window because I got impatient and I stick blended when I knew better. My colors, I think, did okay. You know, for someone that doesn't really test my colors that much, I think I did okay. Now here's my page again. My sky blue, let me see if I can find one. Like, let me see. I want to find one. So here's one right beside each other. And with my lighting and camera, I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference even. Those are different blues. My sky blue, not so good. My darker blue is fine, and my black is fine. My yellow, I think, is fine. Even my white is fine. I'm happy with all of those colors. My sky blue and my terracotta color, I'm not sure that those were super successful, but I'm not mad about it. I'm okay with that. I think, for me, I'm happy with that. One thing that I learned was soda ash. Now, seed popping for me has been a relatively new thing. I've only really seed popped for maybe a year and a half. Before, I would just leave them down here. I would throw towels over them, and I'd call it done. But I've been seed popping most of my soaps for about a year and a half now. And I wanted to show you the difference between the soap I seed popped and the soap I left down here. Because I know I showed you the soda ash. So this is one that I seed popped. This is a blue that didn't get into the bar of soap. There was some, I did plain this, but there was some soda ash on top. But that's about it. A little bit of soda ash on top. No biggie. This was from just sitting here on the counter. And that soda ash went all the way through this bar of soap. All the way through. I just kept planing and I kept planing and I kept planing, and it just kept having soda ash, and it went all the way through. And I was shocked. I was really shocked at that. I didn't put a towel over it. I didn't want any sort of seed pop environment. I wanted to see the difference between the two. But this little cheap Amazon thing I bought that I put my soap in has no heat retention whatsoever. I mean, the heat just left this thing so fast. And I just slapped a piece of cardboard on top of this and called it done. And I had no idea that your soap sitting on a counter like that would soda ash so badly. That was crazy. And my black, I mean, it just went all the way through. I don't know. There's soda ash. This is cut in half. I cut that in half so we could see. Just went all the way through. It just wasn't on the top and bottom. All the way through. There's the inside. I really thought that was crazy. So that's a lesson learned too. I think that's it, guys. That's enough. This is probably like ridiculously long. I'm going to try to cut it down. You know, my goal is always 20, and I never get there. I always shoot for 20. Anymore, I'm happy if I get 23 minutes down for you guys. I am going to get this edited and plugged into my lineup probably the last week in December, just so I can air it the month of the challenge. Thank you so much for your time watching me. And if you haven't subscribed, would you consider doing that? That really does help my channel, and giving me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down if you hated it. I'll just see you in the next video. Bye.